The roar in St. Peter's Square had subsided, replaced by a hushed anticipation that vibrated through the crisp Roman air. White smoke had billowed hours ago, and now the balcony doors creaked open. Cardinal Robert Prevost, a man whose life had been a tapestry woven from the quiet service of the Augustinian order and the vibrant faith of Peru, stepped out. He was no longer just a cardinal. He was Pope Leo XIV. News of his election rippled across the globe, a mixture of surprise and cautious optimism. Yet, in the shadowed corners of the internet, a different narrative was unfolding, fueled by the ancient and disputed prophecy of the popes. For some, Benedict XVI's passing had solidified a long-held belief. He was the last true pope. Any successor, in their eyes, could only be the figure prophesied to bring about the Church's ruin, the Antichrist. This suspicion was further stoked by Pope Leo XIV's relatively recent elevation to Cardinal in September 2023, a swift ascent that struck conspiracy-minded individuals as unnatural, a potential manipulation by unseen forces. His American nationality also became a focal point of concern. The United States, in their view, was a land increasingly accepting of LGBTQ+ individuals, a cultural shift seen as a stark deviation from traditional Christian values and aligning with the Antichrist's supposed agenda. Could an American pope, shaped by such a society, truly be God's chosen representative? The more fervent even speculated about the backing of his nation, wondering if the United States might see in him an opportunity for global influence, potentially even supporting him in a dark quest if he were indeed the prophesied antagonist. As Pope Leo XIV delivered his first blessing, Urbi et Orbi, the sun glinted off the gold thread in his vestments. To the millions gathered and watching worldwide, it was a moment of profound spiritual significance, the dawn of a new chapter for the Catholic Church. But for the adherents of the darker interpretation, each word he spoke, each gesture he made, was viewed through a lens of suspicion and fear. Whispers turned into online pronouncements. Blog posts dissected his background, searching for any perceived anomaly, any hint of the malevolent figure they expected. His years in Peru were scrutinized, his administrative roles reinterpreted with sinister undertones, and his American identity was twisted into a sign of the prophecies unfolding in a new, unprecedented era. Within the Vatican walls, the initial joy of the election was subtly tinged with awareness of these undercurrents. While the vast majority of the faithful welcomed their new shepherd, the digital age amplified the voices of dissent and fear. Security around the new pope was intensified, not just against external threats, but also against the potential for misguided zealotry fueled by these apocalyptic beliefs and the specific concerns surrounding his rapid rise in national identity. Pope Leo XIV, oblivious to the specific vitriol directed at his very existence by this fringe theory, began his pontificate with a message of unity and service. He spoke of bridging divides, of reaching out to the marginalized, themes that had characterized his ministry in South America. Yet, to the conspiracy theorists, these very calls for unity were seen as a deceptive tactic, a way to lull the faithful into a false sense of security before the prophesied darkness descended. The early days of his papacy became a battleground for narratives. The official church and mainstream media presented a picture of a dedicated leader embracing his new responsibilities. Simultaneously, online forums and shadowy websites buzzed with interpretations of every papal action as a sign of the impending apocalypse, now colored by anxieties about his swift ascent and American background. Would this conspiracy theory gain wider traction? Would fear and misinterpretation overshadow faith and hope? The election of Pope Leo XIV had not brought the prophesied end for the vast majority of the world. But for a select few, it was just the beginning of a terrifying countdown, a distorted reality where the vicar of Christ was, in fact, his ultimate adversary, a figure seemingly propelled by unusual speed and hailing from a land they viewed with deep suspicion. The unfolding story of Pope Leo XIV's reign would, in part, be shaped by the shadow of this ancient, unsettling prophecy and the increasingly specific interpretations it spawned in the digital age. I am Henry Ashi. This is Verily News Analysis. For more stories, visit us at www.verilynews.com.